crews are still working to put out fires that have already destroyed significant parts of Jasper, Alberta.
There's Mom and Dad's house.
Here's how the last few days got us here. It changed quickly Monday night. Strong winds pushed fires from the outskirts of Jasper to within a few kilometers of town.
For the longest time, I have thought mobility is the ultimate key to survival. If you have the ability to get out of the affected area, you'll survive. The entire Jewish population has done this over history. They were able to survive the Holocaust and a bunch of other crap that happened to them simply by moving to another country or going somewhere else. Even recently, with the fires in Jasper, British Columbia, the fires in LA, the hurricane all the way down in Florida, North Carolina, all these different areas. Arguably one of the best things you can do is just pack up and go. So if you have the ability over time to build some sort of an Overlander or a teardrop trailer or something that can handle holding your basic necessities with enough fuel to go, even 500 miles, you can move to another state just like that. With this in mind, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my rig I've been building over the last year. I know you guys have seen some of my other rigs that I've built. I spent about 1.5 years building an Isuzu Trooper into an Overlander. It was lifted, locked, had a winch, tent, all sorts of capacity. I built a couple of Land Rover Discoveries and then a big army truck. I didn't quite complete the big army truck, but I sold it at enough of a value that I was able to invest in a teardrop trailer that has massive overland capacity. So over time, I spent what I could each month upgrading until I was able to either have a complete system or sell what I had and turn around and buy something better that I actually wanted. I've been living for years off of soldier wages, so it's not like I'm independently wealthy or anything. I know a lot of people talk about money, and I understand that, but I believe that if you're spending less than you make and you're constantly putting into the project, be that an overlanding vehicle, a teardrop trailer, a bunch of food storage, as long as you're always adding to it, over time, whatever this project is or this idea is or this thing that you want to do is going to come to fruition. Expedition 1 bumper lets me get a couple more gallons of fuel, a high lift jack, and a spare tire on a vehicle that I would not otherwise be able to do that with. A lot of the survival situations that have happened lately have been stuff like fires in LA, fires in British Columbia, hurricanes, all sorts of stuff. So what can we do to prepare against those things? I think we can be the most mobile as possible every single day, planned or unplanned. This is my vehicle that I carry. The stuff that I carry in my vehicle on a regular basis, I didn't plan to go up today, which is perfect for me to film and open it up and show you what's going on. So the question is, how do you prep a vehicle for emergency survival in winter? Okay, so with that in mind, let's go through this stuff. I have a little bug out bag. I always have some sort of sling bag or something. I got a squirrel catcher in one pocket in the back. I've got medical. Got an IFAC, a tourniquet, fire starter, keys, a drone, which is for today, and some extra insulation. So not a lot of stuff. I also have liquids, that doesn't really count, but something to drink. So that's gonna cover the basics of fire, water, shelter, food / water, and communication. So the only thing I would add to this is maybe a battery of some sort for recharging. I've got 2 communication devices. I've got my GPS over there. That is my Garmin GPS that can send text messages, and my phone with a bunch of batteries in my pockets. So I have communication, redundancy, heat, fire starting, redundancy, and basically a plan A and a plan B. That's always going to be with me. All right.
That aside, I've got a fridge in the back of my truck. I'm not gonna call this a need at all, but it sure is handy if you run into some roadkill. It's handy when you got kids. It's handy to pack food that you don't want to get smashed or whatever. It's strapped into my vehicle and it runs off of a Lopez, which is a battery station. That battery station's been really handy to, we're driving along, kid's got an iPad, we got to turn off the vehicle and go in. You can just plug it in and let it run. The battery station can recharge off the vehicle and all that stuff. I was teaching survival classes 2 days ago, so I have a buddy heater in here. I don't think you need a buddy heater in your vehicle, but when I go really cold places like up into Canada, it's nice to have a buddy heater that you can use in whatever situation you want to use it for. It's not something that you're going to leave in your vehicle. I have 2 toolkits. Now, years ago, I used to do a lot of adventure motorcycle riding. I had a BMW 1150 GS, and I had a fanny pack. Yes, Brits, I know what that is over there. Bum pack's just as bad. So I had a fanny pack, and it had all the tools that I needed to pull my vehicle all the way apart and put it all the way back together. And from those tools, I've added and enlarged my kit. So I have built, oh man, a Suzuki Trooper, a couple Discos, this vehicle, and an Overlander LMTV, a bunch of vehicles, all with the tools that I have in this kit. One of them is a roll-up bag, and it's all my small tools, all my electrical, all my small wrenches, and all that stuff, zip ties, those kind of things. And then this is the large bag. The large bag has suspension components, ratchet gun, extra batteries, pry bars, all of the like 20 through 36 millimeter sockets for everything. I could pull apart this large spindle on this Expedition 1 bumper, or I could install that panel on this bumper, or I could pull this thing apart, all with those tools. I have done all of my building, putting head gaskets on, all the way to adding and removing suspension and swapping out CV axles with what's in that kit. So I know I've got what I need for 99% of the situations mechanically, and that's extremely important. If you're getting out of Dodge really fast and you're going someplace stupid along the side of a road, you hit a ditch, I don't know, get stuck somewhere, you're up filming in the back mountains of Utah, you get stuck in the snow because you decide to turn around somewhere stupid, I don't know, you need recovery gear. I've got a winch on the front of this. It's a Warren winch. I've also got this Yankum ropes. Got a little sticker there. Little Yankum ropes bag. And it's the very basic level that I would recommend if you're gonna be out wheeling in the backcountry. I've got the rope itself. I haven't opened that one up yet. I got another one here. A soft shackle. Air compressor components. I haven't installed my air compressor yet, it's coming. And then this attachment for the back. You want to use these because if you're putting dynamic extraction ropes on hitches, the hitches break and kill people and break things apart. So this is what I would consider to be a minimum recovery kit. 35-inch tires that you can air down with beadlocks really helps. That's the minimum extraction kit that I have in the back. I hope to use it soon, and you will be seeing more about that later. In my vehicle, I've got tools, large tools, small tools. I've got ways to pack food and water. I've got a very large electrical system to back up all the electric components that I happen to use, from this camera to iPads for the kids to any of that stuff. I've got extraction tools, including a winch that's built into the vehicle and oversized tires and suspension components that give me the ability to not get stuck to begin with. And then I have extra stuff that's just nice to have. I find myself going out and doing a lot of outdoor stuff. I like to have a chair, a place to sit. I've got a sandbag up there to put my big scope on for my camera for taking pictures, or a rifle that I've got in there as well. And I've got a bag full of ratchet straps. So I would consider this an average loadout for the back of a vehicle that's going to spend a lot of time in the backcountry. The only thing I would add to this is if it's winter, you want something that will keep you warm. If you're going to spend your night in the vehicle because it's stuck or you're running out of fuel, you're gonna get cold. I have a large army jacket. This large army jacket is more than I need for the current environment. So if I combine what I already have and throw this large army jacket over the top of it, I can sleep uncomfortable but still get some sleep tonight without freezing to death in my vehicle. I can keep myself warm. So whatever your environment is, if you can't sit by the side of a fire at 2 o'clock in the morning and stay warm, you didn't bring enough clothes, which usually means whatever you're bringing, add something to it. Because I can take stuff off but I can't put it on if it gets cold. All right, that's a minimum average loadout for winter. I hope this gives you ideas. Clearly, my Overlander rig gives me some other options that other vehicles wouldn't. I got 2 5-gallon Scepter cans of fuel that I can trade out for water. I've got a high lift jack. I've got a big spare tire, and I've got a camper on top that has a sleeping bag inside of it. So if I really get in a pinch, I can pop that open, get inside that sleeping bag, and grab my military jacket, maybe even stick the buddy heater in there for a little while. And I'm gonna be fine until tomorrow, where I can deal with an extraction or figure out what's gonna happen in the morning. It's time to go skiing up to the bare bones tent. So go out today, look at your vehicle, add something that will keep you warm overnight. Always keep your gas tank halfway full. Put cash in your car or your wallet that's only there in case of an emergency. Even having a Garmin Pay watch that can pay for stuff. This gives you the ability to be gone faster, stay out longer, reset better, and if all the electrical grid's down, paying cash and keep on moving. So at a minimum, be able to change your tires, keep yourself warm in your vehicle, and have some sort of a plan. Plan to get home, plan to get to work, plan to get to your grandma's house, or plan to come to some off-grid bug-out tent like I've got that's been sitting here for 3 years, 4 years. Anyway, I don't know how many friction fire, bow drill fire, hard fires I've made in the past on videos. There's some snow in there, that's fun. But I'm going to make an ultimate match fire today because I can. So with any fire, don't just be lazy and like put a lighter on a green tree and expect results. Build your fire as if it's a friction fire and your life depends on it every time. Build your fire lay that way so that when you actually throw your one-time use super flaming blowtorch of a fire starter in there, it actually works. You can actually waste your one chance because you were lazy and didn't prepare the fire properly. So for me, I'm just going to throw a couple of kind of big ones in here because I don't want it to burn too long. And I'm going to make a little void where I put thick stuff, medium stuff, tinder, kindling right in the bottom. I'm going to make sure that the air can flow from the front of the stove where there's vents through the back and on up. If it can't flow properly, then it's just going to smoke you out and not work. Also, when you're making fire, if it isn't hotter on the inside than it is on the outside, it's not going to create a vacuum. You want to have a heat bubble that forces air in there and sucks it up. Otherwise, it's just going to come back in. If it's actually hotter on the outside, and I've done this with cooking, the heat will push down the pipe and then flow back and blow smoke back inside of your tent or teepee, whatever you're in. Some small stuff right here. And all this stuff that's surrounding my fire here is so that it can dry out. Get it nice and super dry. Man, it's dark in there. Okay, I got a little light on my watch. So there's some big logs on the left, big logs on the right and the back, and then kindling right there in the middle. I'm going to put my fire starter right in the middle, and that'll just blast right back and get everything going. Also, you kind of want a close proximity so that the heat from this side to that side reflects and it bounces back and forth and kind of traps. I call them fire chambers. So if you can create a little fire chamber that can kind of reflect the heat around inside, especially if you're lighting a fire when it's like 30 below, those little fire chambers work great and they kind of start the chain reaction or get the train moving. You can try out this. It's called the Ultimate Match by EG Survival. Not super complicated. It's like those firecrackers you had when you were a kid. Set these guys off to the side because I'm going to use those later. There is some instructions, which also burns pretty well, along with this packaging. I'll take these two out. You can stick that packaging in the back. And this is kind of gross overkill, which is why I love it. So basically, you're just gonna pull this ripcord, keep your hand kind of low, stick it in there because it's gonna throw flame out. Don't do this thing, you know, it'll blast you in the chin. So hold low, and it talks about it on the instructions, but hold low and give it a pull. There it goes. It's almost like a small little, I can't think. It's almost like a moonlander going. The back is not hot to the touch. I don't advise that you touch it. There it goes. It's burning right in the back of there, and fire's starting right up. And this thing goes for a couple minutes, and when you're done, you got a cool little ring that you can use for your keys and whatever. I have actually lit the bottom of these things on fire. Just keep going. Move it all around. There you go. As always, I hope I give you a tip or trick or kind of an idea, whether it's keeping cash or keeping your tank halfway full, or at least having some sort of warm something in your vehicle and having tools to change your tires. I think if you're not doing that at a minimum, that's a place to start. For the rest of you that are fairly experienced, keep doing what you're doing. Go out and practice it. It's basically what I'm doing today. I had a downtime today, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna go up in the mountains. Just threw the clothes that I have on, threw my skis in my truck, drove until my truck wouldn't drive anymore, and went up to the little tent that I've got up here. Whatever you do, practice. Go use your kit, film it, share, and thank you for watching.